It's not since the hot August bank holiday of the 26th, which Ipswich have last tasted defeat. Iain, how does it feel? Have you forgotten what it feels like to lose a football game?
The feeling was really weird Saturday night. I was just twiddling my thumbs, thinking my lucky pants don't work anymore. And I was just, it was really strange because after losing home to Leeds, I left that game feeling optimistic, thinking, this is the first time we've played one of the relegated teams. I mean, people say 4-3, they deserve to win. When you're at the game, you'd have seen it was a mad 15 minutes in the first half where Leeds went up 3-1 up. And that's been the trend going through the season, conceding goals in the first 20 minutes. That was 3 that time, and 1 against West Brom in the first 5 minutes. Yeah.
Well, welcome back to the Ipswich View. I'd like to talk to you about corners, defending corners and set plays. I want to also talk about McKenna's 100th game in charge, because obviously it was a milestone. I also want to talk about Crystal Palace, the rumours around their potential new manager hunting. Let's go back to Saturday night then against West Brom. West Brom aren't a bad side at all on this. There's no failure in coming up against a team that haven't only lost one at home. What was your view of the game as a whole? I mean, I watched it on TV, and I was surprised. I was expecting to see I thought it looked at times men against boys, but probably being very, very unfair. But that's just my snapshot view of one game.
Joe, I used to hate watching us on TV. We had a terrible record on Sky, and it came back on Saturday, and we looked bereft of anything. And it's like when you tell your friend they've got a really good comedy program to watch, and you get them to watch it, and it's the most boring episode ever. And it was the same on Saturday. Come and watch Ipswich, it's fantastic football. And it was, what are they doing? And we seemed to be lost to make anything happen, shots or anything. But credit to West Brom, they knew to come out and hit us hard in the first half. That really just, we didn't really know what to do, and nothing seemed to be working for us. And it was very frustrating to watch. But half time, Kieran McKenna will go in. He's got a habit of turning things round. We're quite comfortable to go 1-0 down. We'll turn that around, but it just didn't happen. And then, we had a corner second half, a fantastic counter attack from West Brom, which really just, that was it. And when that second goal went in, I don't know where 3 goals are going to come from, let alone 2. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for a side who, I think, am I right in this? I think you've told us before in previous ones that you've scored in every game since Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Is that right?
It is, yeah.
I mean, it's one of those stats that you read and hear, and you think it's just got to go double check that before I just say it. And so okay, West Brom fans will be absolutely delighted the first shutout of that one. Let's go back to the corner then, the first goal then. Another goal in the first 10 minutes of a game. We highlighted it last week when you spoke about it in the Swansea game. What is it then about set plays? What has he got to do in training this week to stop these goals from set plays going in the back of your net?
When it comes to set plays, you've got, at that level, every player has a duty. Every player has somebody to pick up or a responsibility, depending what. Yeah, and you train against what you think the team will bring against you. When you look back at that goal, it was the header was quite forward in the box, to glancing header to the back post. It's not your conventional header where the guy's actually hitting it on target. It was a glancing header. I don't think he thought it was going to go in, and everyone seemed to leave it. And I think it was George Hurst at the back watched it kind of go in, and it just took everybody by surprise. I think the West Brom fans included. It wasn't the type of goal we expected to concede, and I still don't fear, set pieces. If the only way people can score against us is set pieces, and then that says something for the way we close down in open play football. To me, it was the worry about the counter when they scored on that second goal.
Do you think the timing of the game has something to do with it? I mean, we'll never know the answer, but they'll have watched Leeds on Friday night, and obviously see them drop points, and then they must have heard that Southampton going into that game had also dropped points. So you're thinking, crikey, they both dropped points. Here we are. If we win this, we are 11 points, 12 points clear. I mean, obviously it's disappointing, but do you think any of that played into it?
I think the players, if you speak to them, each and every one of them will say, "Oh, we just focus on the next game." And they seem to carry that air that they're not looking at other fixtures and saying, "What could happen if we win?" I just think, actually, in Ipswich's case, is it's the third time running from international breaks where we've come back from an international break and we just haven't gelled on that first game back. So I'd like to think that the bounce on Tuesday, which will be when people are watching this, probably already played. So Wednesday, actually, when we play Millwall, that's hopefully where the bounce comes back and we get back to winning ways. We need to get rid of this international breaks now for a while and get a consistent run. Just as we get our form back up, we have another break, and it's not good for us at the moment.
By the time you play Coventry, we'll be into December. Can I ask you what you think should be on Ipswich Christmas list for the January transfer window? What do you need?
Well, people will say we need another striker because when you look at who we have up front, Hurst and Ladapo, you think, well, it's not a great deal of depth. But then you look at Ipswich's, the leading scorers across, lots of divisions, and goals come from everywhere. So I would suggest maybe strikers is not the urgent requirement, and actually where we've been vulnerable is out the back. And I think it's a mixture of inexperience, chopping and changing a couple of times. We've had Burgess, who plays for Australia, so when he's off and he comes back, he's slightly jet lagged. We've swapped Burgess with Edmondson at the back. We've then brought Twanzebe in from Manchester United. He's stepped in for Wolverton. I just feel that for the fullbacks, they're not getting to build their relationship with the centre backs, and it's that area where we're getting the problems. It's not so much the centre backs playing together; it's when our fullbacks go forward. It's the covering in between, and now we've added another change by Luongo being swapped out for Jack Taylor. So again, it's a fine-tuned machine. You don't need to mix around much to kind of really mess it up. So maybe we'll see Kieran go back to something more established this week. We'll see.
And who are you hoping the Premier League don't get a sniff of?
Leif Davis is without doubt probably our most valuable asset. I don't think Connor Chaplin, although he was a leading scorer last year, I don't think he's on anyone's radar. I think Morsey is probably gone past the point of being touted. And really, again, a couple of people mentioned it, there are no superstars at Ipswich. So when you look at that, it's either McKenna or Davis to go. And I'm pretty sure McKenna has pinned his flags to the mast to say he's happy to stay with Ipswich. He wants to get us in the Premiership and manage us in the Premiership. I think it's any to go for.
Yeah, you may have obviously seen some reports this week that Crystal Palace's loss against Luton has meant that some patience is running out with Roy Hodgson, and that their number one go-to should he get the sack would be your manager. You've said this before when I've asked you. You are convinced that even if Palace were to come mid-December and make him an offer, that he would turn that down.
Absolutely. I think there's only two teams right now he would leave Ipswich for, and that would either be Tottenham or Manchester United. Neither of those clubs are going to come from McKenna. There is news that the Northern Ireland job might be up for grabs. So again, that might pique his interest a little bit. But I really do, having seen him on the club forums where he meets with the fans, seen his press conferences, read what he has to say in the matchday programme, he is here, I do believe, to get the project complete, and that completion is us in the Premiership.
And just finally on that then, so 100th game against West Brom, 58% winning percentage, which is just unheard of, really, certainly in modern era of football. I don't need to ask you for the superlatives about what your manager is, but just in a sentence or so, what does he mean to this club?
He means everything. The club was, from the heights of Bobby Robson's era, and then even George Burley getting us promoted in the Premiership, the club descended into a doom and a pit of darkness. Yeah, for many years, you always lived in the shadow of what Bobby Robson achieved, what Sir Alf Ramsey achieved. People always referring to the UEFA Cup and the FA Cup. And now Kieran McKenna is setting his own history. People will be able to, they won't compare this team to the team of the 80s. They'll be using this as a benchmark for teams going forward. And that's what we needed to do. We needed to kind of put the history on the shelf and create new history.
Great. All right, prediction then for this weekend. Ipswich against a Coventry side, which away from home have just started to pick up a little bit. What's your predictions for this one?
Yeah, sold out 2 weeks ago. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic atmosphere. And Coventry stutter probably more than we do. They're inconsistent. I think we're going to see Ipswich spark. We'll get a good win in midweek, hopefully, and that'll set us up. What I'd like to see is a nice 3-0 home win. We just need to see our strikers putting in 1 or 2. And I would absolutely love for Dane Scarlett to come on and actually get a goal for us as well, because he's been fantastic for the England elite team.
Yeah, great. Listen, Iain, thanks for joining us again. Really appreciate it. You've come back even after you've lost, which is it's a sign of a true fan, isn't it? All right, we'll catch you next week. Thanks, Iain.
Cheers, bye.
So.